Hello fellow builders, Crystal Run County welcomes you back to another video. In the last video, the town of Bir Darul Run and Crystal Rapids worked together to attract a larger electric utility capable of building a power plant complex that can serve the area for generations to come. The success of these two towns hasn't gone unnoticed, and a new group of western inlanders have surveyed an area across from the power plant in hopes of building a beautiful and relaxing community focused on the pleasures of water, providing them a nice, quiet home or second home on the water. So for this new town, Mystic Haven, we're going to utilize the keys from the Content Creator Pack to create a canal city. First, I'm looking to approximate the center of the area where we're going to build, and then in that center area, I'm going to create a channel to bring the water in. And off of that channel, we're going to have little finger canals where we're going to place our residents. At the head of the canal, I'm going to add a ferry terminal, as well as some nice assets from our campus, leisure, some commercial, just to create a nice scene as you enter the town from the water. So I'm using the regular 2-lane road, and the dimensions I'm using are $200, then $440, then $200. And what that's going to allow me to do is build a canal and lay down the keys, and then on the end roads that were the $200 sections, we'll leave those. It'll leave behind enough room to zone the full 4 tiles deep, plus 1 unit from the key to where it will zone, just in case we want to add some pathing or trees or something like that. It's going to be a little bit tough because, of course, in City Skyline, water kills trees, at least most of them. It might not quite kill the new ones that we got from the update. So this is going to be a rinse and repeat process. It's going to be 200, 440, 200, dig a trench, fill it in, run the key, and then move on to the next one. So I went ahead and fast forward through to some of that, because like I said, it was rinse and repeat, and this is what it looks like when we're done. Now all I gotta do is let the water kind of fill in, start some zoning, and we're gonna add some docks, which is gonna look really cool. We're gonna use the pathing to do that, and I'm gonna show you that in just a minute. But first, I'd like to create a nice area for our education. And what I'd like to do here is place a larger high school and an elementary school. First, let's get started on the high school. We're going to go ahead and place some of the campus zoning, and that way we can place some of the statues and fountains and stuff. I still need to get to 1800 on my attractiveness for my campus, so once again, this is helping us out. I'm going to zone some parking lots using the organic and local produce, and we're going to use one of the campus buildings. I think it might be the library, just to give this area a larger, bigger feel. I'm just running some paths around the school. Makes it a little bit larger. Gonna get some foot traffic here and there and add a few of the clubs. Once again, increasing our attractiveness for our main campus to get it to 5-star prestigious. And this is coming along really nice so far. Let's go ahead and dive into one of the canals and use some pathing to create some docks. And while we're doing that, I'm going to do like the detailing, have the parking lots come in for the high school. We'll come back to that later. I've already taken the liberty to set up the terrain to do this. When we do the other side, I'll walk through it so you can kind of see how that was done. Because I've manipulated the terrain, it's allowing me to place down the dirt path right on top of the key. And I'm just kind of creating basic shapes some L shapes, some T shapes, just piers that just come straight out in the water. It's going to have a really nice look once we zone in the buildings and bring the water in. I'm going to change the paths to different types of paths. So you could keep some as the dirt path, so it has that nice wood look. We're going to use the American path to get the nice stone column, amusement park path, university, campus path with the nice blue railings, natural reserve, and zoo pathing, all kinds of stuff. It's going to look really nice. So once that's done, we're going to go ahead and remove all the soil to the level we want it to be. And what I'm doing now is taking the level at the top of the key and bumping that soil out into the canal. And this is where it gets kind of tedious and a little challenging because you have to get it just right. You don't want to bump it up too far because then when you place your path to simulate the dock, it's going to be up too high because the dirt will be too high. And you can't not push it out enough because then it won't allow you to place it on the key to start. So this part of the process can take a little bit of practice and kind of like fine tuning, and you'll see probably I'll make an attempt to do one or two and I'll get the red and it won't let me do it because I haven't pushed the soil out enough, or sometimes you'll see it might kick up the path up real high and look kind of a little weird. And once you kind of get the hang of it, it goes real quick, real smooth. I've also already taken the time to use the district painting tool to create some districts and kind of mix them all up in random ways and set them to self-sufficient, European suburbia, and in other places I haven't put the district painting, so we just get the regular vanilla buildings, and that way we get a nice mix of houses in here. And I'm going to use some high density, somewhat sparingly, lock some down at level 1 just to preserve that so the height's not too high, as well as on some of these bigger docks we'll place some of the bigger higher density buildings, so we have a couple taller buildings in here as well. We're going to go ahead and just change the pathways like I mentioned before, do some American, some zoo, some natural reserve, some amusement park, just to get different colors and different textures in here. And now I'm just placing a bridge across because we're going to have some bridges that cross the canal. What I did there was I raised the canal level up, make it easy on myself. And we're done, it's all zoned in. Let's go ahead and take the grand tour. I think this looks really stunning and beautiful. There's a lot of detail in here, so hopefully you can catch some of it. I spent a lot of time tinkering with the bridges and different paths just to get different feels in here, even down to what trees I selected when using the road with trees. I do like the different combination of buildings and combination of heights. There are some houses that aren't on the canal. They're like kind of tucked in the woods, especially in this little teardrop section here. Started doing some work with some fencing, so they got their own like fenced in plots. They have a nice beautiful park. I think this is the large park lined with some nice purple trees. This is what the canal looks like when the water is in. You can see all the docks along the water with some walking paths going over top. We have our ferry that's moving people around the city. I also built a natural reserve park with a waterfall and lake to give some separation between the towns of Crystal Rapids and our new town here, Mystic Haven. And within the natural reserve park, I created a boardwalk and snapped some of the assets from the city park and the natural reserve park to the boardwalk itself. So that looks pretty cool. We got some nice cabins on the waterfront, and then there's a couple campgrounds in the back. I also changed out the road that was connecting these two areas. I did a little bit of trick with the rocks into terrain to get the rocks right underneath the bridge, just to give an effect like this bridge was built over a big area of a bunch of boulders and stuff. Really nice views from the top here. We can see the canal city, and then our power plant is in the background. Here by the town center, there are two gorgeous blue luxury apartment complexes designed by the renowned Zotos. The story has it, the Zotos took a liking to the area when they visited Bir Darul Run during a family ski trip. And when they heard of a new town being built in the area, Mystic Haven, they jumped on the opportunity, purchased some land, and erected these two beautiful luxury apartment complexes. Crescent Towers on Zotos Court sits on a nice hill and gives residents a beautiful view. Mystic Heights hosts these beautiful blue square buildings on Zotos Lane. right next to our beautiful high school. The high school for Mystic Haven is named after one of the founders, Frustrated Canadian, who was, well, a frustrated Canadian that was a visionary and key in the design of Mystic Haven and its success. The high school complex utilizes the liberal arts study hall as one of its main attractions, as well as a few of the clubhouses, a few tennis courts, a few basketball courts. The forestry fence lines the border. Ample parking for our students. Across the street is an elementary school. And to the side we have a track and field and football field right along the water. We have the information booth from the city park, acting as our bathroom and place to get something to eat. The keys are acting as our bleachers. And we have a few of the gazebos from the prop section. Let's take one more look at the area. I just got word from Bir Darul Run that they were successful in enticing a state-of-the-art mining and manufacturing company to help bring better jobs to the area. Also, they've come to an agreement with Crystal Rapids to extend those same incentives to the vineyard. The vineyard has found a prime location to set up shop in Bir Darul Run, which opens up some land for redevelopment in Crystal Rapids. We'll have to see how that all shakes out in the next episode. And don't forget, if you leave a comment, I'll name something in the city after you. And until then, I wish you the best and brightest cities you can create. And as always, happy building.